What's going on? So, I had some questions about high bar and low bar squatting, and let's talk about that for a little bit. High bar on top of the traps, low bar, which typically a lot of people think low bar means a low bar, like literally. A lot of people put it on their rear delts, and they don't understand what that actually does. Both the high bar and low bar, as far as putting on your delts. But before I even go into go in depth with that, we really have to understand what we're doing when we're lifting, okay? Not just with squat or deadlift or bench, but the thing is it's about ultimate balance, okay? Lifting is about balance. And when I talk about lifting, I'm not thinking about just lifting weights, okay? When we put a bar in our hand, we typically want to change the way the body functions. So when I think about lifting, I think about movement, period. Okay, and I break it to I think about the simplest form of what that is, and what we have to do to maintain our structure. Okay, a lot of people look at these movements, this discipline or whatever you want to call it, as a sole entity. Like they look at lifting and you can't really put it to football. You have to do football and then go and do lifting by itself, and then have to go back to the sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, whatever. You can do this stuff simultaneously when you're doing it correctly, when you understand that it's all about a system, okay? The body being a full one unit system, okay? We've been compartmentalizing this whole thing. So with all that being said, you have to understand it's about balance. In order for us to stand up, it's balance in structure and balance in energy, okay? And the reason why we have all these issues with our body is because we all walk differently, okay? And not to say because we have a different structure, but it's more so a mental thing, because whoever we grew up with, our family, our parents, we look at how they walk and we mimic their walk. So it's not just structural, we mimic, okay? That's just in our essence to mimic. So no matter what, when we stand up with a balance, a certain type of balance. Okay, and sometimes that balance create imbalances. So, with that being said, we need to understand that, and with me saying that, ultimately, your bar placement is everything when it comes to all lifts. But we're talking about squat right now. So, your bar placement is everything, because the top of the body is the most important part of the body. Why is that? Is because it's there to stabilize and finish out that balance. Okay, so let's talk about high bar. Why I believe majority of people don't do high bar, and why I believe high bar is not as efficient as a low bar. Okay, and what is the true low bar position, okay? So think about it like this, especially with someone with a long torso, a longer upper body, okay? Think about this. When you have a high bar, think about a fishing pole, okay? So you have a fishing pole up, and it gets skinnier at the top. Okay, but if you put weight at the very top of that fishing pole, what's going to actually happen? That upper back is going to bow, in a non-structural, but in a non-supportive way. okay, which will cause a top heavy sensation or situation, okay? Top heavy is always going to throw you on the front of your feet, okay? So therefore, if you're on the front of your feet, your whole anterior chain is activated while your posterior chain is not activated. And when you go down to squat, when you go down, you're going to be thrown forward. You may fall forward depending on how much weight you got, okay? But also when you go down with a top heavy bar position, which is high bar, when you get ready to come up, your butt will shoot up because that bar placement is in front of the midfoot, okay? So therefore, the upper body really needs to be in the right position. So it being top heavy because of the lever is loaded. The high point of that lever is loaded, okay? So you want to think about leverage, okay, and levers, okay? Anytime when you have something something that's long and slender, you're not going to put the weight at the top. You're going to find the median to where it splits the object so it can be a lot stronger, right? Okay. So with that being said, let's move down to a low bar where people put it on their rear delts, okay? And that's pretty much about right here on their rear delts, okay? So why is that not good, okay? One, because of it's just too low. Putting the bar on your rear delts flattens the body out, okay? It flattens the upper body out, and it will not allow for you to maintain your structure, because when you squat, since it's at a lower position and you got to find that balance, you're going to go down and say, the bar is here. And we all should know that when we're looking at squat, okay, or any kind of just the athletic stance, the scapula is always over the midfoot. Okay, I know y'all seen the deadlift diagrams where your scapula is directly over the midfoot, or squat diagrams where the scapula is directly over midfoot, or it should be directly over midfoot. But if you have a low bar, okay, in order to find that balance, when you go down, you're going to have to lean forward to get that low bar over midfoot. So you're going to flatten out, okay? So once you flatten out, okay, you having that flat back where that you have that high butt once again, okay? So anytime when you squat down, if you have a flat back, you're not going to hit depth at all, or you're going to have problems with depth, okay? Because of a flat back, boom, the butt would come up, if that makes sense. So therefore, you're out of position and you have to find the awkward balance of the bar in the midfoot, okay? So that throws it out. And also when that happens, when you get ready to come up, all right, the butt's going to shoot up once again, even though it is low. It's not, even though it's low, you're still going to have the same reaction, is because you're going to have to push off the front of the foot. The butt is going to come up, and then you're going to have to hinge the back up. Okay, so that throws the balance off as well. Now, where I put the bar is directly underneath the traps, but on top of the rear delt. So it is if y'all want to put a name to it, I would say a hybrid bar placement, but really it's the natural placement where the bar is sitting directly on top of the scapula, okay? So directly underneath the traps, but on top of the scapula, okay? And again, that's exactly where you want it, because if you think about the athletic stance, the scapula is always directly over the midfoot, okay? So therefore, that keeps a nice balance, okay, for you to go down and up, okay? There's a lot more information in that situation, but just know this before I get into all that. Before I get into all that information, I really want the basis of of these movements, or the superficial basis of these movements, to kind of sink in to you guys' minds to understand, okay, before I actually go deeper into this information. Because if you don't understand the superficial, which everybody grasps on the superficial, they want to know the direct answer, but not know the true information. Okay, everybody want to know that surface information so they can automatically go and try and do it. Okay, but that's not where you're going to actually learn and get the essence. But the first step is for me to get y'all to understand the superficial placement, okay, of that. So that's exactly where you want to have the bar, is directly underneath the traps, but on top of the rear delts. For that balance, we're looking at the athletic stance, okay? We're looking at the stance that you see in every sport, whether it's a higher linebacker stance, or a shortstop stance, or a catcher stance, or anything, where you're balanced, okay? You have the dorsiflexion of the ankle, the bend in the slight bend in the knee, the bend in the ball and socket, and the scapula is directly over midfoot. So y'all need to really understand that placement, okay? And stay tuned for the information. Like I said, I'm doing this strategically so y'all can understand the superficial things before I actually get down into why we are built why we're built the way that we're built, okay? And there's no difference in body types except for proportions, but it's all functioning the same way. I hate that saying where people say, well, all our bodies are different. It doesn't matter. If you set the body up in the correct alignment, everybody's body operates the exact same. So there is really no difference. So I hope y'all take this information and really let it sink in, and stay tuned for the next videos. And of course, a lot of people asking me, hey, y'all, are you going to do some bench videos and some deadlift videos? Yes, I am, but please just stay patient. It's a strategic way I'm doing this, and I hope y'all enjoy. And be sure, if you like the information, like this video, and also be sure to subscribe, and let me know what you think about this information. And if you have any questions or key points that you want me to talk about, please leave that down there as well. So I'll see y'all guys later. I am out.